Hey guys, happy Wednesday, happy night day. So today's question is actually quite serious, and it's a question that people want to know the answer to. I feel like that I personally can speak to my experience of it and ways that I feel like people can get out of it. So let's get to it. Today's question is, why do people stay in an abusive relationship? For me, I know that it was definitely a insecurity piece, as well as a piece of me that felt like after I was out of it, that individual just had a power over me that I cannot explain. And so before I get into talking about this situation, just know when I was a little girl, I used to say, I wish would put his hands on me. And I used to always say that, not thinking anything of it, but the power of the word, like if you wish he would, he going to. And that was even before I was in a relationship. You see these relationships and you almost cast judgment on it. And I know I did even at a young age. But being in that situation is different from looking on television or even your best friend to go through it. If you're in that situation, it's honestly a power that's over you. I know that for the individual that I was with, it was threats to me that if I ever left, that I would die, or something will happen to the people that I love. And it was probably the hardest time of my life. And I wouldn't even say that it was the hardest time of my life because what I was going through physically, but the mental effect that it has on you. You feel like nobody else in the world wants you. You feel like you're a monster and you're just the dirt of it's such horrible feeling to feel like this relationship is all you have and you have to hold on to it. I went through it for a while, and with that, I went through depression, and I used to wear long clothing all the time to hide the bruises and to just mask it, and you're going through this where you live, and when you leave the house, you have to pretend that everything is perfect in this relationship that you're in. And it's scary not knowing if you will wake up the next morning, not knowing that if somebody had something bad to drink or too much to drink or took the wrong thing, will you die tonight? Will you die tonight? And that was just the icing on the cake, because at some point, depending on how abusive this relationship is, if it's mental and physical, at some point, you wish you did die when you were asleep, You wish that you never have to wake up again and feel this person or hear this person that says that they love you and you feel that you love them back hurt you. Sometimes you just wish that you lay down at night and it's over. That is over. I say that it was one of the hardest times for me in my life because it was the lowest for me mentally, physically, spiritually. It was just, I didn't know the person that I looked at in the mirror. I didn't know her. I didn't even want to look at her. Who was she? And why was she letting somebody do this to her? And when you're getting to the point where you're tired from it, you're exhausted, and you start to realize that you deserve better. Like, it comes a point, and I pray for people out there, if you're at that point, do whatever you can to push and get to that point that is just like, I'm done. I'm done. And for me, I knew I was done when, even though the threats came, that if I left, he would kill me. Even with those threats, to me, I would rather leave and die free. I would rather get out of that relationship than to stay in it. I wanted the power back over my life. I wanted my life back. Why did I stay so long? That power that he had in his hand, you know? It's like, you hurt me in ways that I've never been hurt before in my life. And then you tell me you love me. And being naive and insecure and weak. I look back on it and I'm grateful for every day that I had in that situation. And I know that's so crazy to say, but if you know me, I take everything that I've experienced and you mold it. And it's the person that's talking to you right now. It made me me. The good, the bad, the ugly, the in-between. It made me who I am. But I wouldn't wish it on anybody in the world. I wouldn't. It's literally like you're in a puppet show, right? And if you try to snatch back one of your ropes to do something at free will, the consequences that follow is painful. And sometimes it's not even you, you know? Like, they can have a bad day at work, or a fight with a sibling, and you're just there. And so that aggression, that anger, that hurt, that pain, you're the living punching bag in front of it. And you stay because you feel like you've invested so much and they'll grow out of it. And they told me they love me. I feel it. You feel it. You feel it in every way you can. So, if you know somebody that's in this kind of relationship, how do you help them out of it? What do you do? It's so hard to say what you do, because when I was in it, I didn't want to hear what anybody had to say, because I loved him and he loved me, and we're going to conquer the world. I was going to be the mother of his children, and I was going to be his wife, and eventually he was going to stop doing it, and there was nobody else out in the world that wanted me, and he'll put up with me on my stinky drawers, and I didn't want to hear what anybody had to say. I didn't even tell a lot of people. Because not only was I scared of him, but I was ashamed. I was ashamed for people to know what I was going through. I was ashamed because I remember how I was when I judged people, so I didn't talk about it. And I just went through it. So if you know somebody that is in that kind of relationship, honestly, you have to pray. I know that even though a lot of people in my life didn't know what was going on, they knew something was going on, and the prayers of the righteous. And I got out of it. Eventually, I got out of it because of the prayers. For other people, pray. Anything to build or help to build confidence and build this person back up. Breaking them away to see that they're worth it and they deserve more, without saying it, because you don't want to hear that. You barely believe it. Why do you want to hear it? It's non-verbal gestures. And once they get out of it, just make sure that they stay out of it. It's not for anybody. And I'm not even just talking to women, because I know some males that are dealing with the same thing. And I can't even imagine it from a male standpoint. I can't. Like, for me, it was hard. And every case is different. Every situation is different. And denial is different. So, if you know somebody that's in that kind of relationship, do all you can. Do all you can to help get them out. Because that feeling of wishing that when you lay down and go to bed, it would be better if you don't wake up the next morning. It's not a good feeling at all. It's not. So, do whatever you can to make that individual's life amazing, and to see that the world is still beautiful and there's still so many reasons to smile and so many reasons to know your worth and so many reasons to move on. And the key when you move on is to make sure you take your power with you. If you move on and they still have that power over you, you'll still live every day in fear. You'll live every day hating yourself that you went through it, or hating yourself that you allowed yourself to go through it for so long, or hating yourself that you didn't just man up and stick with it. Take your power back. Love yourself. You're beautiful. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve for anybody to hurt you. You don't deserve it. So don't take it. You don't deserve mental or physical abuse. Get out of it. Do what you can. Find a support system and move on. Because if no one else tells you, you're worth it. It's coming from me. Inbox me. Call me. Write me. Whatever you will. I'll meet you. I'll tell you how special you are. But get out of it. Please. I love you guys.